Hey, it's Candia Raquel, founder of Centro de Poder. Welcome to the Sensual Sessions. Today we have a very special guest, Bernardette Pleasant. She is the creator of FEM and the Emotional Institute. Thank you for being here, Bernardette. Welcome.
Oh, Candia, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It is a pleasure, an absolute pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Would you tell us a little bit about your experience as the creator of FEM and the Emotional Institute? Maybe you remember that moment when you said, this is what I want to do, or what happened in your body, what led you to create this?
I thank you for your question. And as I was listening to it just now, it was like, wow, what did that moment look like? And for me, that moment felt like hunger. It felt like I was hungry
Yes.
and knew I needed to feed myself, to find something that would nourish and fuel my body because I felt like I was famished. And so the moment for me just felt like a need to survive. That's what that moment felt like. It's like I need to eat. I am looking around for something to help me, to feed me, and I don't see it. And from that awareness,
Yes.
I began to craft something to eat, something to sink my teeth into and my hungry bones and flesh into.
So it was a call from your body.
It was
You
an
felt it as
absolute body and soul call. Yeah.
body and soul call. And how did
Mhm.
it started? What was your inspiration? What started to feed you?
Oddly enough, what fed me first was a a feeling and sense that I didn't belong or ask for the conditions in which I found myself in, the constriction, the the life that was devoid of color and curve and expression. I wanted a place where I could be free and tap into this knowing that I knew existed in me,
Yes.
a place that was free of judgment and that really welcomed the bigness that lived in me.
Yes.
And they say you create what you most need, and that's what
Yes.
was happening. I was creating what I needed, and not just for me, but I could also see that others were trying to squeeze and contort themselves into a stale and boring and proper existence, and they were dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pretense of a proper existence, of fitting into a box, a generalized box that is not who we are. It's only
That
it's only a like an illusion, I believe, and I like a lot like the need for color, for curve, for space,
for sound,
for sound,
for
yeah,
sound,
for life.
indeed. And Candia, I really love that you use that word, that box, because the box is a one size fits all, and that's not fair because we are different sizes, we have different abilities, we need to customize our box, but we're told that don't color outside the lines, don't be too loud or too much or too this, and it just it makes us little soldiers trying not to be out of rhythm or out of bounds. And I wasn't okay with that. My laughter was loud. My ideas were my size, and mine wasn't right from someone else's. It's just that we have different things.
Yes, the uniqueness and the riches in the individuality and in the don't be too loud, don't be too beautiful, don't be too shy, don't be too skinny, don't be too fat, don't wear too much makeup, don't be with a wash.
Without enough.
And at the end, all you get is don't be, as if it was a formula of annihilating the true self that actually has no need for further knowledge or mathematics. It's like something primal, as you say.
Indeed, it is primal, and it is primal. And what's great about primal is it doesn't give a damn about conformity. It's beautiful in its uniqueness. And I realized I was trying to conform, and my body, my head was saying conform, 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 because that's where it's safe. And my body was, it was telling me, no, this isn't working. This isn't for me. This doesn't feel good. And I have a right to the expression of what my body and my mind and my ideas and my energy just calls for.
Yes, you and all of us have the right to be and to express our true self.
Yeah.
And perhaps there's this belief of trying to conform to be accepted, to belong, but there's also, it comes with the price of not being accepted nor loved for who you truly are. So it takes a daring on coming out as you truly are. So you get that love from from the real acceptance, but also it makes me think that that is a practice of integrity, of
Mm.
of coming forth in this way. And how did this experience of taking space, of welcoming your size and your uniqueness, led to fem? What did this like discovery, um how did it merge to music, dancing, rhythm?
Yeah. So I found myself taking the tools that worked for me and creating. And one of those fundamental tools was the rhythms and sounds and medicine of live drums,
Live
congas,
drums. Oh,
djembe. Yes. And there was something for me that came alive in that whenever I found myself moving and dancing to those rhythms, I found more movement. I found more truth and honesty, not the dance, because sometimes we say the word dance and people say, I don't know how to dance. This isn't about this is about raw expression. And anyone who
yes,
knows how
yes,
to
yes,
roll or
yes.
walk or move or reach knows how to do this. And it's tapping into what your body needs. So, what I found was there was something for me, and after of course later doing the research and understanding, it made so much sense. There is the drum is the first sound anyone has ever heard or experienced, and we became more of ourselves hearing that sound, how that sound in our mother's heart
Yes, yes,
calmed something in our nervous system. It was constant.
yes.
we developed and grew hearing that sound. So that sound, the medicine of the live skins of the drum, calms the nervous system and reaches in like through our mouths down into our very core and begs of more growth out of us at the same time. And it is a beautiful way to grow because you rest, because it is calming the nervous system and you are growing simultaneously and you are engulfed in the sound. So in my body of work in FEM, I knew
Yes.
the drum was paramount.
Yes.
I wanted to hear that sound because I was going to ask people to take up space. I was going to ask them to grow. I was going to ask them to do things that society says is not okay, to have voice, to
Yes.
go with me on this emotional tour that is embedded into a FEM
Yes.
experience. And that emotional tour really requires courage
Yes.
because it's asking someone to take up space, to show emotion, to not care about what it looks like, but tap into the realness, the primal expression of what it feels like.
Yes.
We move from one emotion to the other, and I call it an emotional tour because, well, myself and the drum is their tour guide,
Yes.
and we are spending just a little time in each of these stops. But some of the emotional tour is joy. We start with joy. Like, where does it live in your body? What color is it? How does it sound? How does it move? And to have full expression of this, we move on to grief and anger and desire and confidence, and lastly flirt. And the reason why we put this thing together, it's been put together in a way to take care of people energetically because they are going on a deep dive, given,
Yes.
allowed to
Yes.
play, allowed to
Yes.
express, allowed to be messy, allowed to
Yes.
be honest,
To be
and to
human.
tap into the feeling and not care what it looks like because it's beautiful, because it's true.
Because it's beautiful, because it's true.
It's true, and that's where the beauty lies, and it's medicine, and it's scary because we all got the conditioning of don't show your grief or your anger, don't be too confident, your desires need to be safe, not true. So it's a lot of unlearning that's necessary that we're doing in that tour. But what I've noticed is afterwards, people look like they've shed dead skin.
Yes.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And that's that 90-minute experience. I've just watched transform people. I've watched them take up more space in their bodies, that I watched them fill out to the edges of their skin.
Yes.
That is like church. That is it's like it's the greatest manifestation of being is when one takes up and fills out the space and there is no question in their eyes about whether it's okay, but confidence and sureness.
Yes. Confidence. How how can people take back, especially women, how can they take back their sensual confidence?
Oh,
And how can they claim it and hold on dear to it for life beyond what they say, like, ah, you're too beautiful, or you're too like extravagant or too loud? How can you protect that, take it back, and in a way, how can you go from half-assed to badass?
half-assed to badass. How they can take this back? Thank you for
Yes.
this question. It what there are. I tell them to open their eyes, look around you, look at the sunset. It does not hold back.
Rise as the sun.
Look at the moon, how
Back.
how it shows up different every day, sometimes full, sometimes low, where you feel like you can touch it, but always gorgeous. The clouds, nature shows us examples of how to show up and show out.
Nature teaches us
Shows
how to
us
show up
absolutely.
and show.
It
Yes,
shows us all the time. I as I look outside my window right now, I see bare trees and how the beauty of them in this bare state and how they change. They're forever changing. So what I feel like women can do is they can embrace where they are. They can look around and say, how can I take up a little more space?
yes,
Maybe that's just with a deeper breath.
yes.
Maybe that's by raising one's hand, by saying yes, by saying I'm the one for that, or launching the program.
Yes.
Maybe they surround themselves with like-minded people where they can
Yes.
say and celebrate the
Yes.
goodness and greatness, the little things. They don't have to be major. We make it difficult, I think, by thinking it's not so big, or comparison to each other. Sunsets don't compare.
The sunsets don't compare.
No comparison. It's all beautiful. Some are more vibrant, some are are more subtle, but it's always beautiful. And so just saying yes to what is, and asking, in what tiny way can I take up a little more space? It usually stops with digesting the where you are and just celebrating what's present right now.
Right
Let's
now,
not
right
let's
here.
not look outside for validation, and outside for, it's not always forward. Get present, and how are we able to celebrate what is right now, and then say, okay, this is good. And now what can we do after we've spent some time enjoying and celebrating what is? Okay, that was great. That was amazing. And now, how can I take up just a little bit more space,
Yes.
and a little bit more space? And at some point, you kind of look behind and you're like, wow, I've come a long way.
A long way. Blooming.
Yes, blooming. I think of that, my favorite flower, it's the peony, and how
Peony.
it shows up at that tight little ball. And
God.
what's so surprising is that it opens and it's gorgeous, and then it just keeps opening and opening and opening and opening, and it's too much and it's glorious.
It's too
And
much and it's glorious. Yes, yes, yes.
yes,
It's not
and
ego. It's true,
no,
sincere
no,
beauty.
it's beautiful, and it's like, wait for it, there's more
There's
of me.
more.
And yes. And so, how that's an example of nature, and how we can celebrate too muchness and not get small and try to fit back in
Yes.
because of it, but celebrate it.
Celebrate
Because
muchness. Blooming.
yes, celebrate it, celebrate it. Hell yeah, you're too much. Yes, and it's perfect. And
Yeah.
it's perfect. Sometimes that we hear that too muchness and we go to shrink. And what I'm going to encourage people, all people, and particularly women, because they're such caretakers that they don't want to take up the space, but that they know that in that celebration of vastness and bigness, that more bubbles forth just like that peony, and then it gives others permission to take up more space. They're saying your taking up space doesn't take up it doesn't mean that there's less space for me. It's actually saying, and you can do it too.
Yeah, it's bringing perfume to the world,
Yes,
beauty and fruits. That's the nature's way.
it's the nature's way. And we get to, I think, when we celebrate that, when we celebrate the bigness of our ideas and our voices and our books that we want to write, and saying yes to these things and pushing through as if birthing, literally
Yes,
pushing through
as if
this
birthing.
thing. We just, in the aliveness, we heal ourselves and the world, and the givers that we
Yes,
naturally are. We are then giving from a place of voluptuousness and fullness as
yes,
opposed to scarcity.
yes, yes.
That's true giving.
That's
That's
that's true
that's the
for
kind of
eating.
giving.
Yeah,
Indeed.
that's the practice
Yes.
of tending to true nature.
Yes. And it's giving from overflow because we didn't hold back. See, we get
Yes.
resentful when we hold back and still try to be the caretaker.
Yeah, it doesn't match.
Doesn't match because you're trying to give from what we don't have. So imagine that tight, balled peony trying to give its life force. It has not opened up, it has not shown its full beauty. And in doing that, now there's something that we can share. It is giving from the overflow, not from a parched, scarce place.
Trying to belong.
Yes.
No, this is being and blooming truly. It's the true unleashing on primal sensuality.
Indeed.
The
And from
peony.
that, yes, and from that blooming place, that's where that's where seeds sprout, and that's where the essence comes from, and then it allows that the bees to come in and do its work. So imagine also what's happening is our bodies open up, our minds open up, we start to take up more space, we are in our turn on, we're actually able to have freedom in our body and move. And so all the things that constricted us at one time, there's no room for that when we're full.
Yes, yes,
We roll through these amazing, like all the hills and valleys that make up the wonderland of our feminine body gets to
yes.
be fully celebrated and acknowledged, and it's glorious. It's so
It's
good.
glorious.
It's such a turn on.
It's endless awe.
Yes, yes,
And in that way, pleasure is healing because it's health itself. It's the life force brimming. It's the heart pulsing and the blood flowing and
yes,
feeling your heart pulse rippling into the space as the flower giving
yes.
it its perfume. I love
Mm.
it. Share with us a little something, a little taste on how to tap into sensuality.
Mm.
A little something that our audience, our fascinated audience, can unleash their primal sensuality, especially in the times that they are already into the box trying to fit in. Like,
Yes, yes. So imagine I'm going to take you on a experiential journey. So I invite the listeners to come with me into the box. So let's do whatever is necessary. What I'm going to do is put my feet up on the chair that I'm sitting on and literally feel the constriction as I tighten my body and cover and cower and wrap myself in, making myself small, squeezing muscles, tightening my face, and noticing what happens with my breath as it starts to get thin and short, making a lemon face and squeezing, and knowing that in this space, this space that I could choose to stay in and choose to try to live a full life from this tight space, There's nothing about it that allows me to be what I want to do. So what I want to talk about is this space. I want you to imagine with me that we are standing on the bank of a river, and you can see the other side of the river. And let's say there's freedom and expression over there across the river. But we stand here or curl here in this balled up state, constricted state, and we want to cross the river to freedom. First, we have to see the vision. Whatever freedom looks like for you, for me, I'm dancing wildly, I'm taking up space, I'm smiling. See the you that you desire to be. I have ideas, I'm abundant in love and money. Whatever it is for you, just see it across the river. And then acknowledge the space you're in this tight balled up space. And then find the internal safety, putting your hands on body, offering soothing touch, compassion, giving yourself the amount of time that it takes, and allow your body to start to soften. And notice how it feels to truly become jelly-like, taking up more space on that chair, filling it out, allowing your head that might have been once curled in to feel the sun on its face. Deepening into your breath, allowing your breath to wrap around your heart. Moving in slow motion, spreading your toes as you start to allow your body, one limb at a time, to test the waters, to come out of this curled space, and know that it is not in an instant that we are across that lake, but breathe your way into the water, into the direction that you wish to go, noticing that the water may not be warm, it may be a rushing cold. You may want to seek the safety of that which you knew back on the chair, curled up. And anytime you feel less than safe, as you start to make different choices, different experiences, being willing to bear in the tide of the water that is flowing, finding your way across the river, realizing you will find things in the river that challenge you. And anytime you get scared, allow your hands to come onto body, reminding you that it is safe, that you will make it through to the other side. You will take up the space you desire to, make yourself through the water, walking, swimming, floating, whatever you do. And eventually you will make yourself to the other side. And as you drag yourself onto this new land, taking up space slowly, it is new. Pushing your heart forward, allowing it to drag around in big, safe circles, curling your spine behind, allowing your hands and arms to reach out, grab handfuls of life, Opening every orifice, saying yes to taking up space, yes to celebrating life, yes to joy, yes to this gorgeous body that has carried me so far. And just feel coming up through your feet, feeling your feet on the earth, breathing up to your knees, allowing life to kiss the backs of your knees, to race up and down your amazing thighs, to circle your hips. And I invite you to push your hips to the far right and drag them forward towards my voice and over to the other side, and to push back. Unleashing these hips, allowing your hands and arms to continue to reach out in celebration, to take up space, to take up space in all that you do, to unleash your sensuality because it fuels everything you touch, to make love to life, to fuck your desires to life. The medicine is within us. And to find yourself with like-minded tribe where your too muchness is celebrated, where you get to show up and show out like the most beautiful sunset, and know that anything less is a life you have chosen to leave behind on the other side of the river, and that you are not going back. You can't. Thank you.
Thank you. Ah, what a gift, Bernardette. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. That was good for me. It's always good for me.
Yeah, yeah. Celebrating life
Mm,
moment by moment, unfolding as a peony.
mm,
Mm.
yes.
It's
Yes, indeed.
fascinating how we could be in this state
Yes.
forever, because actually that's the state,
Mm-hmm.
that's aliveness. Thank you so much, Bernadette. Please tell our audience, the sensualist, how can they find you? How can they learn more from you?
Oh, I look forward to hearing from this audience. I want to thank you for
My
this
pleasure.
opportunity to feel and be alive and to share.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, my pleasure.
TheEmotionalInstitute.com
Welcome.
is my website. That's where we are on social media, The Emotional Institute. I'm
Emotional.
Bernardette Pleasant, and they can find me and or uh, my website.
Your website.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Go check Bernadette's website. Her blog is fantastic. Reach her for her courses and classes. And thank you so much, Bernadette. Really, yeah,
Absolute honor. Thank you,
yeah.
Candia.
And thank you, Sensualist, for being in this inner journey. If you haven't already, please visit centrodepoder.com and subscribe to the Sensual emails to get this Sensual podcast and share it with your friends. And remember, take time to know your fire so you can share the flame. Thank you for being here and see you next time. Ciao.